In the dark night, as the snake slithers, its body goes over the saw, and the snake gets a few cuts. The snake believes the saw is against him. The snake is hurt and decides to punish the saw. The snake decides, I have to teach that person a lesson, and therefore, using its might, the snake wraps itself around the saw and, wanting to choke the saw, tightens its body around the saw. The snake dies. Let me ask you, in your life, what does the snake represent and what does the saw represent? Take a couple of minutes and think. What does the snake represent in your life? And what does the saw represent? The beauty about any of these interactions is all the answers are right. Not a single answer is wrong. And this is what you will do inside the classroom. You will tell them the story and you will tell them that all the answers are right. There are no wrong answers here. So we are not a classic maths problem where 2 into 6 is equal to what? Please give me the answer. There's only one right answer over there called 12. Over here, all the answers are right. And then you contribute from your side a possible answer. Could it be that snake is our ego and the saw is how this ego deals with situations and issues? It need not even be a problem. The saw is very helpful. It's a tool. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. The ego perceives things as problems. And when I want to punish that, I hurt myself even more. It could also be that saw are some people who come into our life who have certain edges. Somebody can be ruthlessly honest and they don't know how to deliver a message softly. So they might just straight away say, you're looking so fat. And you might prefer people to ignore the size and shape that you have and focus on the other good that you're doing in life. So the moment somebody says, you're looking so fat, the ego gets hurt. You see this person as a problem and maybe deal with it differently. Maybe keep that hurt for a long, long time. Look at nature. I eat solid food. The stomach digests it, divides it into 2 parts, nourishment and waste. In about 24 hours time, the nourishment reaches every cell of my body and the waste is thrown out. I take in liquid, I drink water, I drink juice, I drink milk. Once again, the same thing. Whatever has to be nourished is nourished. And whatever is now useless, toxic, urine, it is again thrown out of the body in a matter of about 4 hours time. The air that we breathe, oxygen, in a matter of seconds becomes carbon dioxide and we have to throw it out. Now here is another question. What happens if we don't throw out the unwanted, wasteful, solid or liquid or gas from our body? What happens if we decide to retain it? What if we say, नहीं फेंकेगा, गंदगी है, बदबू है, तकलीफ है, पीड़ा है, बीमारी है, नहीं फेंकेगा लेकिन. What happens when you refuse to let go of the unwanted? Any one of you? And the solid goes in 24 hours. Maximum. Liquid has to go out in 4 hours. And gas, that is breathing air, in seconds. So what happens if you don't let go of this? We can't live, right? We can't. We feel so uneasy, right? Get ourselves hurt, become poison. If nature has designed this entire system to throw away what is unwanted, the unwanted negative emotions that we experience every now and then in life, how about throwing it out? You're hurt? Keep the message and let go of the hurt. You're angry? Learn from the episode. Drop the anger. You are scared? Face the situation. Overcome that emotion. Overcome your fear. You are jealous? Get motivated and rise. You are angry? Like I said, solve what you can control. Enhance your capacity. And one day, what is not solvable by you today will become solvable for you. So a very simple way to look at life is, anything which is unwanted, if nature has created me to throw it out, who am I to retain it? I am going against nature if I keep the negatives as a part of me. Now, how do I throw the negatives out? What can be done? There are many options. Option number one, which I really love, is any physical activity. Dance, running, any physical activity. Go for a walk, or go to the balcony and sing a sad song. Any physical activity, and you will find that you are out. Second, a hobby. If you have a hobby, you can channelize all your negative emotions into that hobby. Third, art. Express it through any art. So there are so many ways by which we can deal with negative emotions. It's not so difficult. It's just a choice that we have to make. Like Joseph Campbell says in that book, A Hero with 1,000 Faces. When something goes wrong, we search for a face to blame. We just have to drop this search. I don't want a face to blame. Everything is in my favor. There's something for me to learn out of this experience. Just this. And you turn the ease with which you're living your life. A little chaos inside will be, उसने मेरे साथ गलत किया, उसको ऐसे कैसे छोड़ दूं, उसको सबक सिखाना है. You take care of your life. The snake does have to teach a sabak to the saw. You do what will take you ahead. You don't have to prove anything or anybody right. Take care of your life. Or if you can, take charge of your life. Care is a weak word. Care बहुत soft होता है. You are in the ICU of the hospital, no? Somebody will look at you and say, take care. You look at their face and you're convinced you pass away tonight. Take charge. Which means, damn it, take control over life. Take charge. And the beauty is, Shefu showed this to me once. Inside the word charge, if you remove the H and the G, the care is already present. CHARG. So take charge. How do you take charge? When you keep thinking about positive words, positive phrases, positive things in your life, it's extremely easy for you to remain in charge. So this session, we are going to do something like that. Can I have the sheets, please? So we are going to give you one puzzle. Okay. Now, as per the tables on which you are, I've never understood the phrase that sitting on the table, because actually nobody was sitting on the table. Everybody is sitting on the chair. I see almost every table has at least 6, 7, 8 people, right? In the classroom, what you're going to do is you're going to do it with 6 people, which means 1 bench, 3 on this side, 3 on that side. You'll give them the sheet of paper, 1 for every 6 person in your class. Now, what you're going to do is find as many positive words or good words out of this sheet as possible. It's a crossword, it's a puzzle. And you have 5 minutes to do that. So I'll make it easy. First line, top right, there is a word called work. Mila. My favorite word, work. Okay. Have you found hustle? Inspire. Work. Blessed. Oh. Some of you have not found blessed. I'm very sorry. From today onwards, you're not blessed. Believe. Journey. Breathe. Breathless. I was just checking. Yes, yes, matlab. There's no breathless. Persistence. That was the longest word. Succeed. Power. Teach. Reading. Reading nahi mila? Are hai reading. Imagination. Humble. Thoda humility ke saath bolo. Respect. Respect. Respect is there. Dream. Dream nahi mila? Dream. Best. This is a chotu word. Very chotu. Best. Give. Winner. Not whiner, huh? Winner. Think. Shine. And progress. So how the session is going to go is, first 3 minutes you will tell the snake and the saw story. 2 minutes there will be interaction in the class, which includes a 30-45 second silence. Do not be in a hurry to break the silence. It's an art to hold on to silence. Most speakers and teachers are in a hurry to fill the silence with their own sound. Don't do that. Allow them to think. Give them at least 30 seconds, preferably 45 seconds. Then you know there are some children in the class, 2, 3, who start speaking, and naturally the others will also pick up. Do not take more than 10 people to speak about their idea. There are some classes where a lot of children, and a lot of them are excited. Listen to just 10 of them, otherwise it becomes boring. And then you move into nature, where it forces you to throw out the unwanted. You speak about possibility of snake being your ego, and the saw representing people and experiences which have edges. And when we attempt to teach that, punish that, etc., the snake died. And in many ways, we also die. Our potential, our joy, our celebration, all of that becomes weak, and that kind of dies. Then we speak about how do we stay positive and how do we ensure that the negative emotions don't find their way into us permanently. Like we discussed, it can be sports, it can be hobby, it can be art, it can be singing. In some case, it can also be going to the balcony and screaming. Some funny answers might come from the class, which is absolutely okay. Allow them to have fun and allow them to say whatever they feel like. Then you say one of the ways by which you create an anchor in your life. In stormy seas, the ship needs an anchor. Similarly, all of us need certain anchors. Positive words, powerful thoughts are our anchors. And then you move them into a puzzle. So this is how the flow of the session is going to be. Ask them to do the puzzle. And by now, you are only around 15 minutes mark. And then you are going to do what we did once, a few years ago at Balgandhar. You're going to ask these teams of 6 people inside the classroom to create a rap song based on these words and the other words that you have found. Okay? Since you have discovered it with your sharp, shiny, piercing, intelligent eyes, you can use those words. So out of these words, you have to use at least 10. 10 वर्ड हमको कम से कम यूज करने हैं. You choose which of the 10 you want to use, and you have to create a 8-line rap. Minimum. If you want 12, if you want 16, there might be some artists and some songwriters here. Fair enough. Like Shushmita Sen was. Now you will create a rap. Now, what is the idea? Anything which is celebratory, it's easy for the mind to remember. There is something called the Disney paradox. Disney paradox. Now, what is the Disney paradox? People go to Disneyland to have a great time. And since there is a huge rush because it's clean family fun. If you want to have clean family fun, one of those places you can go is to a Disneyland. Since there are such large number of people who like to come there, there are times when in the famous favorite rides, you have to wait for 1.5, 2 hours. And if you are in, let's say, a place like California, then sweat is rolling down your back. There may be a child who's crying in your arms. You might be sitting for so long and having some cramps, but you can't even go to the washroom because the line goes away and you can't enter in between again. So if you look at it, though the idea of Disneyland is to have a great time, sometimes in having a great time, you go through some tough times. Inconvenience. The paradox is you have gone there to have fun, but you're going through some pain. Yet people year after year increase in numbers when it comes to going to Disney. Why? The memory remembers high emotions. It doesn't remember surface level emotional experiences. Either an experience where there was tremendous negativity, hurt, sadness, anger is what it gets created, or experiences where you had a high. Now, even if the high is for a 30-second, even if the high is for 2 minutes, the whole trip of one day might be worthwhile because of that 2-minute high. So you go through a roller coaster and the roller coaster can be 5 minutes, but you traveled for 6 hours to go to that park. Then you stood in the line for half an hour. Then you stood on another line to go onto the roller coaster. You invested 9-10 hours and then you come back driving 6 hours. And while you're coming back, you're animatedly talking about, ऊपर से जब नीचे गया ना लगा मैं तो मर गया. That high of emotion. So Disney paradox is, and it's an extraordinary discovery in the field of psychology. It is not necessary to pamper people all the time. It's not necessary to give a high to people all the time. Then you become addicted. But what is required is to give people certain moments or minutes, which are the experiences which are so beautiful that you would like to remember for the rest of your life. So this in psychology is called Disney paradox. Though we are going for fun, before the fun and after the fun, there might be some pain. But that pain, you find it negligible when you compare it with the high that you experienced. Like you go to see a movie and you might remember one song or one sequence like responsibility से डर नहीं लगता साहब, disappointment से डर लगता है. मतलब तो It's a high point, right? You might just remember that. I mean, Dabang yogis and that movie Dabang, people might just remember. ये याद है, बेल्ट ठीक कर रहा है, उसका बेल्ट खराब था, डांस मूव बन गया वो. So the idea is, in this session, if we can give them that high, and that high is not about expanding their mind. The high is not about filling them with one or two statements which are life-changing statements. The high is about the excitement of discovery. In the process of discovery, creating something new, and the discussion, the animation, the excitement, when you get two lines with the right rhyme, and that rap song, they might remember for the next 20 years कि यार एक बार अपना एक सेशन था स्कूल में, अपन ने क्या रैप सॉन्ग मंगाया था, याद है तेरे को अभी भी? 20 years down the line, they will still speak about this experience. And what was this experience all about? Anchoring myself to positive. So they don't have to read a book, they don't have to go to Bhagavad Gita classes, they don't have to listen to sermon for hours. Through an experience that they are having themselves, purely in an atmosphere of fun. They had never anticipated when they come to school, they will have a session like this. And because they are not anticipating it, the high is deep also. So thinking about this, we have created this session. So everything else is now 15 minutes. And then you tell them, in 10 minutes, create the best rap that you can. And since it's a group, there will be some debates, there will be some contributions, there will be a beautiful sense of discovery. 10 minutes for you. Your time starts now. Similarly, inside the classroom, let's say I'm assuming there will be 50 children in a class max, which means you will have about 7 or 8 groups. Which means if you have 60, then ensure it is 7 or 8 groups. Each team will take about a minute, not more than 1 minute. So 10 minutes for the raps, 10 minutes for the creation of the session, 15 minutes in the beginning, and 5 minutes towards the closure. Now, those of you who have longer sessions, who have, let's say, 1 hour, or those of you who find a way in which you can create a few extra minutes inside the session, you might want to do the first 15 minutes in 10. You might want to give them 7 minutes time to create the rap. So you might have a session with only 25 children. Then you have only 3 or 4 groups who are going to sing. You can say there are classically 6 kinds of heroes. Fundamentally, who is a hero? See, it's easy for me to be a hero when I am a positive or an optimist. It is impossible for me to be a great leader in the absence of optimism. Pessimistic people will reduce the energy, and leaders have to enhance energy. So leaders are also called peddlers of high emotions and high energy. They distribute high emotions and high energy wherever they go, right? So what are the 6 kinds? And this is a very interesting thing, because mirror what kind is closest to you. One kind of a hero is the emperor. Somebody who can take as much responsibility on their shoulder as possible, who is very just, who does not carry bias, who would like to rule with a fair hand, be tough when required, and take care of as many people as possible. So this attitude is called the emperor's attitude. Then there is another very interesting attitude which is called as the magician's attitude. You just don't know how these people do it. But what they do mesmerizes everybody. So these are the people who would like to think about goals and deeds, which is beyond others' comprehension. So people who dare and who care to have these kind of goals, which is beyond other people's imagination also. Now, these are called magicians. Then there is a sage. Sage is a person who's wise, who doesn't get carried away, always balanced, always guiding, zero vindictiveness in the heart, no matter what the society does to them. So this kind of a person is called a sage. Then there are three more. Hero. A hero is a person who knows how to magnetize people effortlessly, who saves people in distress. Somebody is in difficulty, they run to the hero. And the hero says, "Theek hai, main aa gaya hoon," kinds. Then there's a martyr. Somebody who is willing to dedicate their life for a higher mission. They don't have personal ambitions. They have ambition towards a larger goal. Classically, the soldiers of our country, the job is not to accumulate. For them, success is not what they have, but it's about the impact they have. For them, success is not about what they achieve, but so much is about what they are able to contribute. So this is the fifth hero. And the sixth is a warrior. When nobody believes, they believe. When everyone has doubts, they are super confident. When everything is dark, they are that spark of light. Like they say, no? To defeat the biggest of darkness, you need the smallest of lights. The size of light can be small, yet it can defeat the biggest of darkness. So these are these people, warriors. They just don't know how to give up. You define a warrior as a person who just does not know how to give up. So these are 6 different kinds of heroes that life has. If you have time in the class, you can speak about these 6. And you can ask children, and this is what I'm asking each one of you. You want to live a good life. Which of these heroes do you identify yourself with? So if you're a warrior, you don't have to look at a sage and say, "Aur yaar, uski life kitni achhi hai." So there will be a warrior. There will be a sage. There will be an emperor. There will be a magician. All these kinds of people are required in this world. Depending on the nature that you have, or depending on the longing that you have, you choose a role for yourself. Each one of us, if you want to live that kind of a life where your life is defined by not what you have, but what you give, and it's obvious that you have that mind and that heart, that is why all of us are here together on a Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's obvious that you have that heart that you long to give. Find out what resonates with you. Develop yourself more and more in one of these 6. And I'm sure one day you will not just be a history reader, but in the history books, you will be a history maker. The trick of going inside the classroom and creating a huge impact is to find a few faces. Do not go into the class believing that you will transform everyone. It's not going to happen. Krishna, in sight of all his wisdom, could find one Arjun. Even if Krishna wanted, he could not transform the Kauravas. So when you go inside the classroom, see that few faces who are resonating with what you have to say, who are ready today, and take the entire class thinking about them. It's the truth. Inside every class, there is a Kuldeep who's waiting for a Joshishar who will say, "Isme dam hai." Now, in this class, you will have opportunities. Because people are preparing the raps, when people are searching for words in the puzzles, you should move inside the classroom and now and then tap someone and say, "You're very attentive. Your sharing is very beautiful. The way you listen, something tells me you will do well in life. There's a spark in your eyes. Nurture that spark." To turn somebody's life around, we don't need years. Sometimes a few moments. When somebody believes in you, gets etched in your mind so deeply that one experience is enough to transform lives. फिर वो सही मनस्थिति हो जाती है. Then they will keep learning so that they can do something significant in life. But you become their turning points. So in this session, you don't stand by the side. You move inside. And if possible, speak to every child in the class. 2 or 3 sentences. And it will make the world of difference.